Hi there and welcome to the channel. I'm Slate and today I'm going to go over how I beat but also hopefully help you guys with this brand new Trial of Nightmare. We're going to be going over stages 13 to 15, starting off with this team. Now there are a lot of subbable options and I will explain them, but first we're going to do the little MVP, which is going to be Gluttony. Now next, this is where you do have some options. I'm going to be bringing in Kagiri as he's one of my best heroes. Arrogance also works here because he can do some AoE as well, but essentially you want a hero that is going to do very quick execution before these orbs come round. You're going to pick it up and get started. Now we're going to start dropping down this main quad, which is going to be Volker, Abomination, and a few units behind. You'll see Gluttony absolutely hold his own. Wukong is going to go in that tower because he can give the death save to everyone that we're going to be putting down in this area. And then Moradin is also really nice. You could put down Arrogance here. You could put down, quite a few different options. And then that is where your marksman is going to be. If you have Yuri, it's great. She provides some extra healing, which is obviously quite difficult when you don't really have... Actually, there's not a single Nightmare healer at the moment. But yeah, she can go down there. You could also use Hazard. Now here, again, I have placed Kagiri in that very top lane, waiting for him to ult. He is going to kill this mob. And as soon as he does so, we pick him back up because if that orange blob hits the hero, it is going to instant kill and then create a very large ground area of fire and burning, which makes it impossible to put down any units in that area. So yeah, down the bottom here, we are just going to let them do their thing and ult. I mean, to be honest, you could pretty much put it on auto ult, to be honest. It is very sort of straightforward. You just want to make sure that your tanks are tanky enough, have some HP subs, that kind of thing. But you could also bring in an actual tank. Now for this one, we're actually going to have 2 units coming out. And so if you're using Kagiri, the timing is just a little bit precise. Otherwise he won't kill both units before the fireball comes. Essentially, it's pretty straightforward. As soon as the mob hits him, that is when we are going to ult and he should execute both those heroes and go. And that's why someone like Arrogance is quite good because he can then oh goodness, what's the word? Ult. He's got a long range with his ult as well, so he can usually kill those heroes before the fireball comes through as well. And that is going to just leave it to Gluttony. You could pick Gluttony up if you didn't want to wait, but essentially he will get his ult back around and he will yeet this little minion in just a second, and then that will be stage 13 done. So yeah, there are lots of subbable options. Like I said, you can bring in Hatsu instead of Yuri. That 4 quad is good. I think the only main thing to do is to bring in Volker. She's very much needed. Now, in terms of stage 14, it's going to be essentially the same team that we're going to be bringing in. And it's going to be very similar placements and different things like that. So yeah, we are going to start with our boy Gluttony. He is going to take out that initial mob and we are going to use him in that area as well. Make him nice and tanky. He's really good in Mana Spring with all HP subs on the right hand side, and then you are looking at Astral Guardian to the left hand side with some rage regen as well. And like I said, we've put Kagiri in that top corner. He is going to ult, kill the monster, and then you pick him back up, and that is essentially what is going to happen, same as the last fight as well. Just waiting here. And because he does this parry, he can sometimes take a little bit longer. So just, super slow it and pick him up. And then next is going to go down with Volker. She's got some lovely AoE damage, but most importantly, she actually helps keep your team alive. And then obviously Abomination. Now Abomination for the early stages, you can get away with putting him in as exclusive. But I would definitely say that Lunacy Visor is going to be very good as you progress as well. It just means you've got to drop him early so that he can get that second ult up, which then means he's going to be in his perma ult stage, which is really fantastic. And again, bringing down Yuri, she's going to do some damage, but also do a little bit of healing as well if you do have her bonded with Kagiri. Now, this sort of like main quad area, it's very comfortable. If you find that units are dying, you could definitely put down tank. I have brought Torador for the Lord bonus, but I haven't used him. You could use Wrath, you could use Rygar, and you could bring a tank if you needed to. But yeah, back to this top lane. Again, we have those 2 mobs coming out. So we're going to make sure that we ult with Kagiri once the first mob sort of actually starts to take a swing, because then Kagiri will be able to wipe out both of them, which is really lovely. And then, yeah, we're just going to basically wait. Now, one thing to note is that the fire orbs do count as minions. So you'll see when they reach the portal, it says 16 and then 17. But it doesn't matter if they reach the portal, they don't like destroy the portal. So you'll see that the 3 doesn't change. And that's good to note, because the first time I sort of was doing this stage, oh, and hang on, where are the 2 mobs that are meant to come out at the very end? And then I realized it was these fire orbs. So yeah, this central area is just gonna do its thing. Like I said, if you're having problems with survivability, definitely consider putting in a tank in the front. But amazing thing about both Gluttony and Abomination is they are kind of tanks in and of themselves that do damage. Now again, we have 2 more of the big guys coming down the top, and we are going to ult with Kagiri. Now, the thing about this one is you'll see that the ball does overtake. It is absolutely fine for your unit to die in this section. You know, that was a very, very smooth run with Kagiri. But it's absolutely okay if whatever unit you have doesn't get picked up in time, because that is the last time that the mobs come out of that top lane. So yeah, that is just a little schmidgeroo to do. I think the other thing you can do is, if you're having problems not doing it with just Arrogance or just Kagiri, you see the portal to the things, the squares just above the portal. You could basically just put another DPS unit and use 2 DPS units, but that timing gets a little bit tricky. But anyway, yeah, that is stage 14 completed. And now we are going to move on to stage 15, which is when we get introduced to the boss. Now, the boss for the Nightmare Faction Trials is going to be Moore, the big bad demon captain. Demon soldier captain, the big guy himself, who is also now in the pool. He's like a giant version of Gluttony. We are actually going to swap out Astriel for Hatset, because she does some nice damage, but again, you can pretty much bring who you want to for this fight. It is pretty straightforward, but I would say you definitely need at least 1 tank. So if you do not have Torador as the Lord, you definitely want to bring in Baron, because he has that extra life, and I'll show you what happens. Essentially, we are going to utilize the second life that Torador has. So yeah, anyway, as I was saying, now to get this party started, we are going to place Gluttony in this middle quad like usual, and then behind is going to be Volker straight away. Then we are going to place down Wukong, and then after that we are going to place down our next like DPS, which is going to be Moradin. Now you'll see, usually this is where we would put Abomination, but we need Abomination for the top. So you basically have to practice the DPS. Now Hatset is going to be facing up, but her ult, because it's a 360, can actually hit the mobs down, which is lovely. And Abomination is going to go down as quickly as possible into that top spot. And then we are going to place Kagiri next to him. Kagiri is nice because he's able to survive the boss nuke, which you will see coming shortly. And then as soon as we get to 18 cost, we are going to place Arrogance facing up in this tile here, and I'll explain how that works when we get to it. Now we're going to hold Kagiri's ult until you see that death triangle come up, and then we're going to ult with him, and because of his parry, he is able to survive the more stab. And yeah, absolutely fine. Now what we want to make sure is that the orb doesn't doesn't kill Abomination. So we want to make sure that that's there, and then we're going to block with Torador. But as you'll see, Moore is now in that tile, which means he's going to be hit by Arrogance on Arrogance's ult, and that becomes really helpful. Now the idea here, and you'll see here, is that the Orby thing is going to kill Torador, is also going to kill Kagiri, so hopefully he's done enough damage to survive that. There, you'll see Torador gets back up. That burning damage is now on Kagiri, and it's okay because we've managed to take it down. We don't need any of them here. We can concentrate on this main block, bring in our other marksmen, and all you have to do now is kill everything that comes down the bottom. Now, what I was saying is that if you are having problems with survivability on those two fronts, let's say Gluttony is holding his lane, but Moradin is not holding his lane, that is where you could consider bringing in Draga or Baron, a second tank type thing, to make it a bit more survivability. But essentially, the reason that's nice is you just put some HP sub bonuses on your Nightmare units paired with the Volker, and they're absolutely fine. And this is what I meant by wondering where the mobs were coming. It is just these golden orbs. So yeah, that is essentially my guide to how to beat the Nightmare faction trial, stages 13 to 15. Hopefully this shows you the placements and the order of things, and that helps you with your available roster. I think one of the really interesting things to note is Arrogance's exclusive artifact is really good in this fight because it helps boost his rage. Pretty much everyone is in full DPS, Soulbond Arcana or Infernal Roar, and then with HP bonus substats also helps that survivability. And then Gluttony, our little superstar, he is going to be in this Mana Spring build. It is all HP bonus on the left hand side, or with tank gear, all on the right hand side with tank gear on the left hand side. You are trying to get his HP as high as possible. Here I've almost got him to 100,000 with a lovely amount of rage regen, as much as possible. And then he is also going to be in his key. So yeah, like I said, when you are looking for substitutions, you are really looking for anything that has AoE. So if we just have a quick look at our options, I don't have every Nightmare fighter, so we can just have a look here. Volker, she's an absolute must for this fight. Arrogance is absolutely fantastic. Abomination is amazing as well. I don't believe Lugaru, he is a single target, so he is not going to be very, very helpful. But Magma is also single target, so he's not going to be helpful. I know Lust is single target. I know Rygar is single target, but obviously if you have him, because of his Lord skill, in the fact that he does create some healing as well, I would definitely say that he would be worth bringing in your Lord as you move up. Kigiri is obviously lovely because he does do some AoE as well. Wukong is fantastic because he just nukes down so quick. Twyla could be another option for when you're trying to clear those top mobs. She has this incredible execute as well, in terms of it's not an execute skill, so to speak, but it is a very strong skill that means that she can kill very quickly. The only problem is it's sort of single target. And yeah, now Wrath, because he's got survivability as well, you could use him as a quote unquote tank, because he definitely has. Why am I not just using the Nightmare Council? That makes a lot more sense. Sorry guys, I don't know why I thought of it that way. Now Claw Boy does have some AoE capabilities in the fact that he can pull people, but to be honest, it's just not good enough. Astral as well does have some nice vulnerabilities, and he has that range, so that's quite good. And then, yeah, they sort of say that they're immune to everything but slow, so you could bring in Agreed. But as there are very limited platform units, and because you have to bring in a marksman for this, I would definitely say you could definitely use Agreed. But yeah, and then obviously Deimos is another one of those ones. He is single target, but he does have some HP self-sustain in his kit. I think it's one of his awakenings. Yes, his Awaken 1. So you could, use him as well. And of course, if you have either or both of the unnameable heroes, they are well worth bringing into these fights, and that is because they have magic damage, which both the mobs that you're facing are actually just slightly weaker to. And Ajax is great because he can actually face and help you clear that very top lane if you don't have a strong enough Kigiri or Arrogance. He's definitely going to help you with that. And then obviously Ymret, he has that wonderful AoE capability and long range, so he's definitely going to help if you have him. But yeah, that is going to be everything from me today. I do hope that helps. Do let me know in the comments below how you got on with these few stages. I am going to try and crack these next 2 stages as well, so do stay tuned for that. But yeah, that is everything from me today. Thank you so much for watching. Do like and subscribe if you haven't already. I look forward to seeing you in the next video and the next live stream. So until then, take care and bye for now.